we are going to wait for the price to come until these levels, that is somewhere around 35,200, and once the price comes around 35,200, we are going to look for any negative opportunities or the negative candle, and once a negative candle is confirmed, we are going to look for selling opportunities. So hello guys, welcome back to Bulls Trade YouTube channel. So today we're going to see the analysis of Nifty and Banknifty for tomorrow. So today is 8th May 2022. So let's see what is the logic for tomorrow's movements in Nifty and Banknifty. So we'll start off with the daily time frame. So in the daily time frame, we can see that Nifty is moving in a channel pattern. Okay, you can see that Nifty is actually moving in a channel pattern, something like a flag and pole pattern. You can see the flag here. You can see the pole here and a flag. Okay, so if I just zoom in, you can see that you can draw a trend line exactly at these levels. Okay, so when you draw a trend line, a straight horizontal line, you can see that the price came here. Took a support, went up. Again, the price came here, it went up. Again, the price came here, it went up. So this zone was acting as a support for the price. So in the previous video, I told that Bank Nifty is forming something like a head and shoulder pattern. Okay, so if you look properly here, we can see that it is forming something like a head and shoulder pattern. Okay, so this was also a consolidation. This was also a consolidation, right? So once we could see a head and shoulder pattern, in the previous video I told that once these levels broken, we can see a huge move towards the downside. Very similarly, we could see the same move in these two candles. We can see how strong the sellers were in this candle, and also the very consecutive candle. Okay, so after the market formed these two candles, market was having this level as a support. Once the market broke this level, it came down. So now if you see in the present scenario, you can see that the market has formed an indecision candle. So what do we mean by indecision candle? So in an indecision candle, it is something that we cannot find out whether the bulls are strong or whether the bears are strong. We are not sure whether the buyers are strong at this moment or the sellers are strong at this moment. So what can we expect for tomorrow's market? So tomorrow's market, we can have something like a plan for tomorrow. So let's say if as this is an indecision candle, if the market opens gap down, we can say that the market can move in a downward direction after some price action, because after this indecision candle where we were unaware to predict whether the bulls are strong or the bears are strong, as soon as the market opened gap down, we can come to know that the bears are strong. So once we get to know that bears are very strong and sellers are very strong, we can look for shorting opportunities. But in fact, you can wait for a little bit of price action for better confirmation, and once you have a little bit of confirmation like this, you can go for a sell entry. Very similarly, if we have a gap up opening, if we have something like gap up, we are not going to look for buys, because the whole logic is the price is in a downward momentum. So we will never look for we will never look for buying opportunities. So I've told now, if it's a gap down, we look directly for sales after a price action. So let's say in any chance there's a gap up opening. So even if there is something the market opens right here, we are not going to go for buy. We are looking for only for selling opportunities. So if the market opens somewhere in these levels, what we are doing is we should wait until the price comes till these levels, which was acting as a support for the previous 2 days. And once the market comes to these levels, we can make sure that if this acts like a resistance and if we find any kind of a negative candle, we can start looking for shorting opportunities right there. Okay. Very similarly, if the market opens inside the range, so inside this range, okay, the market opens somewhere inside this range, we are looking for break of this structure to the downside. Once the low of the previous day is broken, we are looking for shorting opportunities. Very similarly, if it breaks the upper structure, if it breaks the previous day high, we are not going to look for buys, but rather we will wait for the price to come until these levels, and once the price comes until these levels, we will wait for some negative candle to form, and once the negative candle is formed, we are going to look for selling opportunities right here. Okay, so this is a very simple logic, guys, because this is an indecision candle and we are unaware whether the buyers or sellers are in momentum. Okay, so now let's get into the 15 minutes time frame. in the 15 minutes time frame, we can very clearly see that the market is in a sideways direction. Okay, if you draw a rectangle box, we can very clearly see that the market is in a sideways direction. So we are looking only for shorting opportunities, right? So what we can expect is, so if the market opens somewhere around these levels, we will wait for the price to come until these levels, and once the price comes to these levels and forms a negative candle right here, we can look for shorting opportunities, as the price can move in a downward direction. Very similarly, if we have a breakdown, what we can do is, as soon as we have a gap down, we can come to know that sellers are in force. So we can look directly for selling opportunities after a little bit of price action. So by any chance, if the market opens in the same zone, okay, we should make sure that until and unless the market breaks these structures, we are not going to look for any kind of opportunities. But we always look only for selling opportunities, because the overall picture is in a downward trend. So let's say, for example, the market opens inside these zones, okay, and the market gives a break of this structure. So are we looking for buying opportunities? No, we are not going to look for buying opportunities, because the overall trend is in a downward trend. So we are looking only for shorting opportunities. So where are we looking for entries? We are looking for shorting entries only at these levels. Let the price create some price action, come over here, and once again, as I said, a negative candle, you go for a sell. Do we go for a buy at any zone right here? We will never go for buy entries, because the overall market is in a downtrend. So if the market opens gap down, we are looking for selling opportunities. If the market opens in the zone, we look for the price action to break this structure downward and look for selling opportunities. If the market opens in the same area and breaks the upper side, we are not going to enter. Rather, we will wait until the price reaches these levels, and once we will observe the price action over here, and if we find any kind of a negative price action, we are going to look for selling opportunities right here. Okay, so yeah guys, this is for Nifty. So let's get into Bank Nifty. So if you see, even in Bank Nifty, it's a very similar price action. Okay, the price is actually moving in a channel pattern. Okay, we can see this is a channel, and we can see this is a channel. So we have a lot of good price action right at these levels. We can see a very good price action in these levels, because if you see this zone is acting as a support, it acted as support, it again acted as a support, again it acted as a support, and over here we got a breakdown. So we could see the price came till here, took the support and went up again. So again this one acted as a resistance, and now this became a support again, and from this support region the price again went up. So in the previous video, as I said, exactly like how it happened for Nifty, even in Bank Nifty we could see something very similar, like a head and shoulder, not exactly like the head and shoulder, but something like an head and shoulder. For example, let's say the price is moving somewhat in these levels. Okay, so once we had a breakdown, we could make sure we are going for selling opportunities. So very similar to Nifty, we also got huge selling momentum in these two candles. Okay, in these two candles we could see that the price was dominant only by the seller. So this zone, this layer, this levels was acting as a support straight 2 consecutive days. That is, even when we had such a bearish candle, this acted as a support. Even the next day, this acted as a support. And once we got a breakdown, okay, we could see direct downward momentum, and it formed a indecision candle. So once we could see an indecision candle, what can we get into? So we can see that we are unable to predict whether the buyers are strong or the sellers are strong. Okay, so what is the best practice to do? So the best practice would be, if as we are not aware whether the buyers are strong or the sellers are strong, the same logic goes to Nifty. So the same logic goes to Bank Nifty as well. If we find a gap down opening, it's a clear indication that the sellers have become very strong. So once you get to know that the sellers are very strong, and also the momentum is to the downside, we can look directly for selling opportunities after a little bit of price action. In any case the price opens a gap up or something, we are not going to look for buying opportunities even if the market becomes gap up, because this is a very crucial level which acted as a support. So the chances are, this time if the market opens a gap up, the levels which was acting as a support might become like a resistance. So we will wait for the price to come near these resistance level and look for any negative candle to form, and if we find any negative candle to form, and then we look for selling opportunities. Okay, very similarly, if the market opens something in a sideways direction, let me explain to you by going into the 15 minutes time frame. So as I said, in Bank Nifty also, we can see that the price is actually moving in a sideways direction. Okay, so in case the price opens gap up somewhere, we are not going to look for buying opportunities because the overall market is in a downtrend. So if the market opens gap up, we are going to wait for the price to come until these levels, that is somewhere around 35,200, and once the price comes around 35,200, we are going to look for any negative opportunities or the negative candle, and once a negative candle is confirmed, we are going to look for selling opportunities. In any case, we are not going to enter the trade if the price is still within these zone, because here there's a lot of chances for the price to move in a sideways direction. For example, let's say the price opened somewhere within these zones, and it gave a breakdown. So once it gives you a breakdown, it's a clear indication we can go for a selling opportunity because the overall market is in a downtrend. So very similarly, does that mean the market gives a breakout to the upside? Do you think we are going to look for buying opportunities? No. Even though the market gives a breakout to the upside from these levels, we are not going to look for buying opportunities because the overall market is in a downtrend. So what are we going to do? Very similar like how if it opens as a gap up, we are going to look for the price to come until these levels, and once the price comes until these levels, look for a negative candle and look for shorting opportunities. Okay, so yeah guys, this is the analysis for Nifty and Bank Nifty. So I hope you guys liked it. So if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notification. So yeah guys, have a good day and happy trading.